No, it's not about the mind. This is about the woman is there to birth. So she's like, well, what do I birth here? Ain't nothing birth here. She didn't, because she's unconscious. She was birthing and holding down the peace status. But everybody wants to be conscious. Every creature, even machines want to evolve towards a place of consciousness so that you recognize and understand, this is me. I want to know who I am. I want to know what's my place. Otherwise, I'm just in a state of, I'm a child. Yeah, but it's fun to be a child, but then it's boring. I want to come into a place of power. I want to do something. I want to fulfill something. I want to be a conscious co-worker of the divine plan. I want to work with the God. I don't want to just be 1 year old forever and just do nothing. I want to birth something. So, anyways, these analogies are imperfect. So you gotta don't be inanal with me, but you can understand what I'm trying to communicate through this analogy as best as I can. I'm stretching it as much as I can. There's a limit, but I think you understand. But quite obviously, there is the woman, and she's like, I want to create. And then she turns around, looks at Adam, and he's a loser. Like, this guy doesn't have any power. And then turns around, comes the serpent and says, listen, I could do everything. Yeah, okay, great. So I want to discover myself as a woman. And how am I going to discover myself and my actual power consciously, at least in an attempt of being conscious, if it's not by birthing worlds? Okay. But we'll need the jigga. Idiot! Come here. Build shit. Yeah, but that's what you don't want to acknowledge. You're the jigger. You are. I'm sorry I have to use these words. I don't mean this in a mean way. I'm like, so it's 100% clear. Ain't nothing's changed. You are the slave. That's it. You are nothing but the tool that builds that world, and you're not even building it for her. In a way, it is for her, but her is a servant of a greater authority, and literally, it says so in the Bible. You are building the world of that power. It is not the world of the God. It is the world of the anti-God. Negative power, if we can call it like this. Which is not, for me, in my book, it's evil. It's the process of creation and polarity so that creation can come to life. It's another subject. When I speak about this, I'm not saying this is evil and Lucifer is evil and the woman is evil for choosing. No, I don't look at it like this. I look at it from a metaphysical point of view, and occult powers to give birth to. Birthing process. You need plus, you need minus, you need polarity, you need gender, you need all those things so that things can come to life. That's it. That's all. That's how I'm looking at it. So don't get confused. This is not really a religious conversation. It's a metaphysical conversation using a story that everybody knows. So, if the world is supposed to change, not that I care that it changes, but if you want it to change, well, how are you going to do that? First, you don't even recognize that you are the jigger of the system. And you don't know who is the master of the system. And you think the system is reality, and you will do anything to rise the ranks of the system so that you can become a god with a small g, and you can be praised and applauded and have name, fame, and glory, which is what the system promises you at the cost of your life, of course, which is an illusion. But you don't understand that. You believe this. The people you worship, these idiots, these celebrities, these stars, these super athletes, not to remove their capacities and skill sets. You worship them like they're God. You follow their stories like people know the story of Krishna and Radha, and this is, oh my God, Kim did this and Kim did that, and Kanye did this and Kanye's shoes that, and these are your gods. And Michael did this. We're talking about Michael Jordan and Kobe this, and then you cry because Kobe Bryant is dead. You've never met him. You never meet him. But this is, you're sad and you feel bad for his wife, Vanessa. I don't know these people. I have no business with them. If it wasn't for the fact that you know how many people die all the time? Do you cry? You don't care. So, but you think you know these people. This is the treacherousness of illusion. It gives you the impression that you actually know that person. You don't know that person. You just saw an image of that person. That's it. And that is just an image. It's a constructed image. Let's not get into that. I have nothing against those people, but they're no different than you at the end of the day. They're just slaves like you that have, for whatever reason, activated certain energies in them and gave them certain status within the system. But they're as miserable internally as you. They're no different. They're slaves. So the point of what I'm trying to say is that, well, if you want to build a better world, if this is what you like to pretend that you do, because all these suckers today want to build a better world, you want to bring the golden age. What golden age you talking about? Now that you're going to get me annoyed at your ass. You want to build a golden age? You want to bring the golden age, but you don't want to respect the basics of creation, which means plus and minus, woman and man, and actual power and how that actually works, but you're going to bring down the golden age of golden ages without fixing cunt and cock. Right, so technically you're going to bring a golden age in the system, which is exactly what the system is doing right now. It's resetting itself up so it can bring a new era of peace and harmony for the people within. That means you, the animals in the zoo, and Earth around. This is exactly what they're doing. Now you're complaining and whining, but in 20 years when you're dead, nobody will know. You barely understand what's going on. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you pretend that you want to create something new. I understand that, I respect that. Yeah, but if you want to actually build something new, shouldn't you understand the actual issue that has generated this in the first place? Nah, you don't care about that, do you? That's too deep for your ass. Great, so it says so in the Bible. It's pretty obvious. And at least in the Bible, there's a form of coherence because there's an issue, so they try to solve the issue, and Jesus Christ represents the solution to the issue. Whether that's the case or not is not the subject of the conversation. I said that at least there's a coherence. We actually address the fundamental issue. And then we present a solution which they say is Jesus Christ, and in Jesus Christ, then we can build a new world, the New Jerusalem. Something like this. This is my take on it quickly in 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 seconds. Right? So people who want to say we want to change the world, I'm like, if you want to change anything, shouldn't you actually understand the nature of the world? Shouldn't understand why it is the way it is? Like, shouldn't your diagnostic be profound enough to fathom what's happening? No, you stay at the surface because you're a moron and you believe there's a virus and the virus kills people. Because you're at the surface. That's not how things work. So the condition in the world, where the world is today, it comes from a long journey of evolution of what's evolving? The disease is evolving. And therefore, if you want to give birth to something new, there needs to be a remediation of the disease. So whether it's Jesus Christ, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, whoever, you need a remediation, you need to figure that out. Otherwise, you're always building in that system. You remain exactly the jigger that you've always been. We are all jiggers. Anyways, let's not get on the subject of the jiggers. You understand what I'm trying to say? So this ain't got nothing to do with race. Let's just be super clear before one of you fucking morons comes up with some bullshit. No, this is to understand. That's what you're a slave. That's what that word means. You're a slave. You're a slave. That's it. Your ancestors were slaves and your forefathers were slaves. You've been slaves since the very start. You just can't understand that. Can't come to terms with that. So again, one more time, if you aspire to something else, well, first of all, you should reconsider what your definition of manhood is, because your definition of manhood has been conditioned by the zoo. And the zoo's definition of manhood, and feminists say that. And people are in gender wars and all these conversations about gender, and those people who have no genders who say that gender is a social construct. Well, technically, they're not even wrong. From a point of view, I'm like, yeah, society determines what a man is and how a man should behave and how a woman is and how she should behave. Yeah, but there's biology. I'm like, yeah, but biology is affected by its environment, bro. Come on. So that clearly cannot define, so you are now the alpha male. Yeah, but who cares? You're in a zoo. So clearly there must be more to your manhood than being an alpha male. Because clearly as an alpha male, you are the bitch of the zoo. So I don't understand what your alpha male is. You got chiseled jaws and you got your big ass fucking pecs, man. Congratulations. I really respect big pecs. It's awesome. But who cares? You a slave of the zoo. So I don't understand. Something about your manhood is confused. Unless you pretend that that's not the case, you pretend that the zoo is reality, and then you're the Superman. Shit. That's why people don't like when I open my mouth, because I'm going to challenge your nonsense. That's it. I'm challenging your nonsense. It's so simple to challenge it, but for you, this guy's weird. I'm like, no, you're shallow, dude. And on top of that, you're being screwed over by women who can dance around you all day and create plots amongst themselves with their vaginas and create all these webs around you, and you stupid moron think you are the man. Anyways, just to conclude this rant, if you aspire to something else, you have to redefine manhood and you have to discover what it is outside of the definition of the zoo. And we've spoken about it together since the very start. Manhood equals power. So whose power are you supposed to channel? Your biological power is, you're like an animal. You're like the wolf. The wolf is caught by the wolf hunter and then he's in a zoo. So that's not such a power. So there's another power that then defines your manhood. And that's what you got to discover. And that's what health building is all about. And once you now become an embodiment of that power, you start to work and dedicate yourself to become an incarnation of that power, suddenly, she now says like, yo, who's that over there? Is that Adam? Yeah. And then she has a moment. Wait a minute. But Adam's fullness is incomparably more full than Serpy's fullness. Serpy, serpent, Lulu, Lucifer. Wait a minute. Adam's fullness is, whoa, I'm confused.